بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran al-Durr, the Juz of the Quran spares. In this session we'll begin by reading the few verses about Prophet Ayyub, Job, who is associated with patience, a great he suffered great suffering, and we'll talk about this inshallah. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واذكر عبدنا أيوب إذ نادى ربه أني مسني الشيطان بنصب وعذاب. And remember our servant Job, when he cried out to his Lord, Satan has afflicted me with distress and suffering. اركض برجلك هذا مغتسل بارد وشراب. We responded, stomp your foot. Now here's a cool and refreshing spring for washing and drinking. ووهبنا له أهله ومثلهم معهم رحمة منا وذكرى لأولي الألباب. And we gave him back his family, twice as many, as a mercy from us and a lesson for people of reason. وخذ بيدك ضغثا فاضرب به ولا تحنث إنا وجدناه صابرا نعم العبد إنه أواب. And we said to him, take in your hand a bundle of grass and strike, the context speak, and strike with it. And it seems that there's a story that we will mention about his wife. And do not break your oath. We truly found him patient. What an excellent servant he was. Indeed, he constantly turned to Allah. So, Prophet Ayyub, Job, was afflicted with losing his children, his community, with a long illness. There's a hadith that we will read, inshallah. Only his wife stayed with him. He once became angry with his wife and vowed to give her 100 lashes if he recovered. It seems that the story is that she sold, that's the story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam. The story is that she sold her ponytail, if you will, a braided ponytail, because she used to serve people to make some money to feed them. That's part of the story, Allahu alam. He was really what he said. It was that he did not want her to sell. Allahu alam about this story. But to take a bundle of grass that has some 100 leaves, and that basically he would gently strike her in the sense of this way there will be the instead of the 100 lashes. When Job's affliction was lifted, he became remorseful at what he had said to help Job fulfill his vow without harming his wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered him to strike her with a bundle of 100 blades of grass. Okay. Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam, his story is a story of patience. And it became iconic in literature. and it became, even in Arabic, it is even sung. So people did sing about Sabr Ayyub, the patience of Job's patience, or Ayyub's patience. The hadith that could explain some of these verses more, although it is obvious, because to say that this is a water spring, for example, or here you have a cooling, a cool, refreshing spring. It's really about healing him. It's about healing him because he became very sick. At any rate, the hadith goes like this. The This is a hadith narrated by Anas bin Malik radiallahu anh. He said, the Messenger of God said, verily the Prophet of Allah, Ayub, Job, peace be upon him, peace and prayers be upon him, لبث به بلاء 18 سنة. His tribulation, his sickness, but his tribulation was in his body, in his family, in his wealth. So it lasted 18 years. You might find other prophetic tradition mentioning different numbers of years, but less 15, for example. The idea is that he was sick for a long time. It was a test for him. In fact, the prick of a thorn could be a source of a good deed if you have patience. Everything that happens to you, حتى الشوكة يشاكها له بها أجر، والله سبحانه وتعالى أعلم. So when he became that sick and that long, and he was ostracized, he was shunned, he was rejected. It seems that people were kind of disgusted even with him, except for two men who were uh, from his inner circle of brothers. They used to go and check on him, and one of them said, uh, one day, one of them said to the other, these two brothers of his, who could be brothers in faith, since he lost most of his family. One of them said, you know, by God, Ayub, Job, must have committed a sin that no one ever sinned from amongst people, all humanity, العالمين. And the other brother said, why is that? He said, it's been 18 years that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not been merciful to him, so much so that he will relieve him of his tribulation, of his sickness, of his distress, of his suffering. So when When they went to Ayub alayhi salam, فَلَمَّا رَحَا إِلَيْهِ, that man uh, mentioned, he did not have patience, and he mentioned this to Ayub alayhi salam. And Ayub alayhi salam said, I don't know what you say, kind of being skeptical in the sense of I might have committed something, but now the real true character of Ayub alayhi salam, he said, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uh, Azza wa Jal knows that I used to pass by two men quarreling, and they would mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the Quran, Allah ta'ala, and they mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obviously, if you have two people disputing something, and both of them, let's say, take oath that each one of them is saying the truth, then one of them is definitely not mentioning the truth or the whole truth. It could be both also. And he said, Ayub alayhi salam said, فأرجع إلى بيتي فأكفر عنهما كراهية أن يذكر الله تعالى لا في الحق. So he would go back to his house, and he would uh, offer penance on their behalf without them knowing, detesting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be mentioned except in truth. To explain this, I don't know why some scholars in certain um, Arab countries, a particular Arab country, the scholars there, not one, they keep taking oath. They keep taking oath, like as if they basically, as if they don't take oath, people would not, either you believe what I say or you don't. Why I have an issue with this? Is it permitted? Yes. But look at the example of Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah. Imam Shafi'i said, and this is in the Islamic uh, literature, he said, Wallahu alam, he said, ما حلفت بالله عز وجل لا كاذبا ولا صادقا قط. I have never taken oath by the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by Allah, neither in truth nor in falsehood. Like, why he wouldn't? Out of respect for the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here we have a position of a major Imam. Okay. The hadith continues. It says, and he used to go out to relieve himself. Once he is done, his wife would take him by his hand until he reaches his place. And one day he slowed. He did not get out of the place where he used to relieve himself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Ayyub alayhi salam to hit the ground. So we have أركض برجلك, this is verse 42, هذا مغتسل بارد وشراب, stomp your foot, Now here's a cool and refreshing spring for washing and drinking. So she, and obviously the water here was a source of healing. It's water, it's refreshing, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala healed him. The signs, the miracles, if you will, in the Quran, there's you always take a certain action. The Prophet would take certain action. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam talk about the miracle of the splitting the sea. He had to use his staff, swallowing the magic of those Egyptian magicians in front of the Pharaoh, that he had to throw his staff to create, so that he would like a source of water for the 12 tribes. He hit the rock, and 12 places gushing water for the 12 tribes. Uh, so you would take action always by leave of God. So he was healed, and now he's absolutely back to his image, the one that existed 18 years before. So when his wife thought that he was taking his time, like she went to check on him. So he already now, rather than reaching him, he reached her, and now he's absolutely healed. And she asked him, she did not recognize him. She asked him, "Did you? God bless you. Did you see the Prophet of God, هذا المبتلى, the one who is in tribulation, who was being tested with disease?" And she continued by saying, "For Allah, على ذلك ما رأيت رجل أشبه به منك إذ كان صحيحا." I've never seen anyone who looks like him more than you, compared to when he was uh, healthy. He said, "It's me." قال فإني أنا هو. It's me. Then it mentions that he had two threshing places, one for wheat and one for barley. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent two clouds. When one of them was above the threshing place for wheat, the cloud dumped gold, like literally, like sometimes you have these. You have rain, you have drizzle, but also sometimes it's just simply the rain comes like heavily, and above the threshing place for barley, uh, it dumped. It also dumped another one in the um, threshing barley place until it overflowed. In both cases, حتى فاض. In another tradition, seems that the second one, it was silver, but this is much difference. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who who healed him, and he compensated him for that patience. Mentioning patience because it's وإنا وجدناه صابرا. إنا وجدناه صابرا نعم العبد إنه أواب. We truly found him patient. And if one would like to simply revisit the uh, verses and traditions and news about patience, the importance of patience. Many verses really. واصبر وما صبرك إلا بالله. Have patience. And your patience could only take place by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ولمن صبر وغفر إن ذلك من عزم الأمور إن وجدناه صابرا نعم العبد هواب. This is about Ayyub alayhi salam. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا اتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون واصبر لحكم ربك. And in the hadith والصبر ضياء narrated by Muslim, patience is light as it illuminates. And in hadith narrated by both Bukhari and Muslim, ومن الصبر يصبره الله وما أعطي أحد عطاء خيرا من الصبر. And whoever is patient, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who enables him to be patient. But you take that, you have the intention to have patience. And no one is given anything better than patience. Many traditions about the importance of patience. You need and the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب. It بغير حساب. The reward for those who are patient from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with بغير حساب, like overflowing. I think there is a reward for those who fast also in the hadith that fasting belongs to me and I وأنا أجزي به, and the image that I reward, and there's no quantity mentioned. It's you will get the closest thing you can think of as an image is like a waterfall of hasanat, of good deeds. And you need patience to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like when you, to pray the 5 daily prayers, and to give almsgiving, and to do good, and to seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to make dua, supplication, and to remember the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to help people, and even to smile in the face of adversity, in the sense of people hear bad news all the time. So if everyone is going to remain gloomy and depressed, and those who address the public in whatever capacity, but talking here, let's say in schools, in universities, in the mosque, and one of the important things is to provide a glimpse of hope, all by leave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People need to lift up their morale, to continue to be able to function, which is even those whom we ask to help and uplift people, they themselves might need also the same thing. But don't join those who are simply complaining. There's always something good. Even the prick of a thorn, you can have reward for that. It's all you need is patience. And you need patience also to stay away from disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need patience to all these defects of the tongue. Imam Ghazali mentions 90 of them. Sorry, Imam Ghazali mentions 20 of them. There's an Andalusian scholar who mentioned about 90 of them. You talk about false witnessing, lying, insulting, cursing, backbiting. You need to have patience not to fall into the trap of Satan. And the third one, as in the case of Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salam, is have patience when you are tested, when you have tribulation, when you are in distress, when you are suffering. But rest assured that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be on your side once you have that patience. استعينوا بالله واصبروا إن الأرض لله يورث من يشاء من عباده والعاقبة للمتقين. Seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have patience. The earth belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will give it to whomever He wills amongst His servants. And the hereafter is for the righteous. So in this life, people might take something that does not belong to them. In the hereafter, they cannot. In the next session, inshallah, we have many names of prophets that are mentioned. Ibrahim and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and others. Inshallah, we will mention them. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.